Andrew, you left the Democratic Party and you tweeted this just last night. Let the soul searching among Democrats begin after last night's results. Is there something that the Democrats could change to get you back on board?
The Forward Party is trying to make our democracy actually work for more Americans. We're for open primaries and ranked choice voting. And so if the Democratic Party were to come together and say, look, we shouldn't have these closed party primaries where the party bosses have so much control over the process, then they would get me very excited, and I would love to sit down with them. We're going to support candidates who are Republicans, independents, or Democrats that are for making a system that actually answers to the American people as opposed to just the party insiders.
So it's interesting. I spent 6 years at the RNC. I've grown up in the party apparatus, right? And I've dealt a lot as well with the Democratic Party on big issues. And I know that the parties not just come with the issue sets, but they have a lot of structural and logistical advantages, right, in terms of being on ballots and all that kind of stuff that you're well aware of. So is that something that you think the Forward Party can kind of overcome?
We want to try and open it up, Sean, and you're 100% right that right now it's difficult for anyone to get on the ballot if you're not a Republican or Democrat, which, by the way, is exactly how the parties have it set up. And if you look at our founding documents, there is nothing about any political party in the Constitution. George Washington warned against partisanship. John Adams called two parties an evil upon the Republic. And the parties came about really decades later around the Civil War. And there was a period, you're all not going to believe this, but there's a period when Republicans and Democrats weren't even that distinguishable from each other, like back in the 50s and 60s. So this polarized atmosphere that we're experiencing right now is unusual. And there are a lot of people who are avid partisans on both sides who remember a time when you could sit down with family members and disagree with them politically, but still love them and get along. And the Forward Party is about trying to bring that version of America back because we have much more in common and we have to stop judging each other and even, in many cases, viewing someone as your mortal enemy just because they disagree with you politically.
So, Andrew, is the Forward Party's goal to win or is it to influence?
Our goal is to make our government actually work for the people of this country. And the main way we can do that is by aligning the incentives of our leaders with us. Now, right now, we pretend that those incentives are in place, but they're not. And if you're an insider like you are, Sean, you know that 83% of our representatives are just trying to avoid getting primaried in their own party because that's how they keep their job. So what we want to do is make it so that each representative has to try and make a case to 51% of us in their district as opposed to just the 10 to 20% who participate in the closed party primary. And you know who should be for this is any Republican who lives in a blue state where you're completely shut out. You know, that's not right.
Right.
The same is true in reverse on the other side. We have to open it up. And that's what the Forward Party is about. A genuinely representative democracy where you don't need to be a party boss or insider to get on the ballot.
So let me ask you this. Like, I totally get what you're talking about, right? But from a party perspective, are there issues that you guys are going to champion, or is it more of a process, i.e. this open primary stuff, ranked choice voting? Because I feel like you're absolutely right. Once you go in on either side, right, if you're a Republican, you've got to make sure that you figure out how to do what you need to raise money, to be in good with leadership because you want committee assignments. And the same thing's true on the other side of the aisle. So what can you guys do in terms of, is it the process that you really care about, or is it there going to be some issues that you champion as well?
You know what's fun is in this case, Sean, the process is the issue. So if you make it so that our legislators actually answer to more of us, then you would see their incentives improve, their behavior would change, but also you would see different points of view emerge. I don't think there should be two parties in the United States of America. I don't think there should be three parties. I think that there should be 4 or 5, because we can all very, very clearly see that the two parties right now have at least 2 parties each within them. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing that the Democratic side very clearly, and I think many Republicans would agree. So we need to actually give more people genuine voice and representation, and the duopoly right now is not doing that for a lot of Americans.
Andrew, before we let you go, who are you seeing join your party, this forward movement? Is it people leaving the Democratic Party, people leaving the Republican Party, or independents? Who's coming your way?
There are a lot of people who identify as independents, Lindsay. There are people who are from law enforcement or military backgrounds who say this is the kind of unifying movement that they've been looking for because they fought for their country and they didn't fight for a country that divided people up into either subgroups or tribes or whatever's happening in different arenas. So I've been thrilled by the reception we've gotten because this is still one country. We're all in it together. Just because you disagree with me and voted for someone else doesn't mean that we're not both Americans and that we shouldn't be ready to not just live alongside each other, but sacrifice for each other. And that's been an incredible message I've gotten.
Well, Andrew, I'll tell you this. I actually was really impressed with the campaign that you ran. I think it was very issue-oriented, and I agree with you on that. I'm a believer. I'm a strong conservative. I believe in the principles of the conservative movement, but I like talking ideas and policies. I thought you did a really good job during your campaign of focusing on that, and you're welcome back anytime to have this discussion, because I think that getting more people engaged in the process, hopefully I'd like them more engaged on the conservative side, but I think just engaging in the process is a great thing for the country, and I applaud the effort that you're out there doing.
Well, thank you, Sean. We need to make it so more people feel like our country actually is in their service. And it's not that we're all looking up at this government that doesn't answer to us in a genuine way. But thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And for noticing that I ran a campaign that tried to get some big ideas out there.
Math. It's all about math. I remember.
I was the math guy. It's true. I still like those numbers.
Well, thank you, Andrew. Really appreciate you coming on. And like Sean said, hope to have you back.
Yeah, I would love that. Thanks, Lindsay.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.